Overeating makes Lin feel sick, and she goes to the restroom. Her sister decides to help the girl sort things out and leaves Shanshan alone with Tanmin, Hanlin and her brother. That's great. This is a good opportunity to elicit information from Shanshan. Yun asks the others if any of them have been to the Great Wall of China. Hanlin replies that he'd been there once as a kid, and he clarifies with Yun why he's asking about it so suddenly. The guy replies that he's just curious how people in ancient times built such an impressive structure. Did they really know any spells? When he said those words, Shanshan twitched very suspiciously. Then, looking at the girl, Lingyun asked her if she knew anything about it. At that very moment, Lin and her sister begin to be accosted by some gentlemen, offering the girls to spend the night with them. Hearing the woman screams, Lingyun and Shanshan look around and jump out of their seats worriedly. Before the guy could even blink an eye, the girl immediately rushed to his aid. She's fast. A couple seconds later, Tanmin and Goddess were already standing in front of the three perverts, covering their girlfriends with their hands. One of those bastards looks at Shanshan and rather remarked that they were having a lot of luck today. Another beauty. Blocking Yuna's sister, the blue-haired guy asks the frightened Linju if she's alright. While Lin is yelling that these rascals are trying to take advantage of them, Yun and Hanlin are already running up from behind. Grabbing one of the aggressors by the arm, Tanmin demands an apology from them, and if the girls forgive them, he will be merciful and let them go. Sucker, are you sick of living? You want to die? The pervert grabbed by the arm said angrily. The man in the leather jacket, kneading his fists, says with a smirk that it won't be difficult for them to scatter a bunch of brats. They have already graduated from Jiangnan University of Technology. Standing imperiously in front of Tanmin, the bastards order the guy to kneel down and bow to his elders, and then they'll consider sparing him. Bo! Lowering his eyes angrily to the floor, the blue-haired boy said, "You're not worthy of this," Tanmin shouted, raising his leg sharply, delivering a powerful knee strike to the chest of the nearby bully. Such a strong attack made the man's mouth bleed. How dare he? He muttered quietly, trying to regain his breath. Holding his chest, the pervert orders his friends to get rid of the blue-haired guy. "Where are you looking at that?" Stealthily running behind the back of his leather-jacketed opponent, Lingyun inquired. At the same moment, the guy kicked his opponent in the back with all his might. As a result of this blow, the man rolled several meters face down on the floor. The last pissed-off man of the group, kneading his fists, angrily preparing to beat up this bunch of brats. But at that moment, something went wrong for him. Hanlin, who had come up behind him, gently tripped his opponent. The pervert's legs buckled and he fell face down on the floor. A surprised Tanmin praises the shy guy for doing such a great job. "Well done, you guys did a cool job on them," Lin shouted out excitedly. How dare those bastards dare to outrageously represent the name of their university? Looking at the guys lying underfoot, Tanmin wondered if Jiangnan University of Technology only produced such animals. Who's talking trash about our university? Suddenly there was an outraged shout from nearby. At the same moment, a crowd of stout men, clearly not in the mood for a peaceful resolution of the conflict, approached the friends. Turning around, Shanshan asks the girls to get away from here, or they might accidentally hurt themselves. The goddess herself has no intention of backing down. "Shanshan, are you going to fight too?" A worried Lin shrieked in surprise. Suddenly someone grabbed the girl's arm tightly. Taking it, Lingyun looked at it confidently, while Shanshan stares at the place where their hands touch in surprise. Still holding her wrist, stepping back a bit without looking at her, he asks the goddess to go and watch the two behind him. The girl doesn't belong here. Walking forward and standing in front of the crowd of angry people, Lingyun asked his friends to stand behind him so as not to get hurt. Is he crazy? There are 7 of them. Tanmin excitedly tells the guy that no matter how good he fights, he can't go up against them alone. In response, Yoon tells his friend not to make a fuss. When the guy comes closer to them, grinning mockingly and tapping the bottle on his hand, the boss of the scum mocks Yoon. "Since you can't win, you've decided to play the hero for the last time, haven't you? But none of you will get away unscathed," the man shouted furiously, swinging the bottle. "Brother, watch out." Frightened for the guy, Linju shouted loudly. However, Lingyun doesn't even pay attention to all of his opponent's pathos. He dodges the attack in one move without even taking his hands out of his pockets. Looking around in bewilderment, the enemy can't understand how such a fat sod could be so agile. However, unlike most opponents, despite the miss, the man does not give up. Without stopping the movement of his arm, he throws a punch with a U-turn. But to Lingyun, this all looks no better than a normal back warm-up. He dodges the second punch in one motion, stone-faced, without making any attempt to counterattack. This turn of events makes a tense opponent very worried. While this jock's partners watch their boss's ridiculous punches with shame, Yoon, without taking his hands out of his pockets, continues to perfectly dodge every punch his foe throws. "Are you done?" An ominous voice came from behind him. The boy ran behind his tense opponent's back in one motion. Immediately after saying those words, Yun grabbed the man's wrist and in a single motion, snapped his opponent's arm and disarmed him, curling his arm behind his back. The guy fell the jock chest down to the ground and crushed him with his knee, locking him in place. The bottle that flew out of his opponent's hand fell to the floor and shattered. As Yun pinned the man to the floor, the man closed his eyes, ready to say he was accepting defeat. But at this moment, in front of his eyes, he saw the sharp broken bottle that Lin Yun brought up to his face. "Buddy, mercy," shouted the once pompous bully in desperation, stammering. Holding the man by the neck and clubbering his arm, the guy turned around, pointing the broken bottle at the first three perverts. "Someone else. What, you only know how to show off?" Yun shouted intimidatingly, such a bottle at them. Frightened bullies try to find the right words to try to save their boss. Well, even I didn't see that coming. Bro, we're sorry. It's our fault, we didn't realize who we were dealing with. Have pity on us fools. Bro, the crying boys cried out on their knees, begging and pleading. "Do you have to apologize to me?" Ling Yun said angrily, looking at them with disdain. Frightened by such a scary look, these perverts did not dare to cross the mighty bro. Standing up in front of the girls, the guys bowed and apologized to them. They had too much to drink and were talking nonsense. The three allowed them to beat and scold them as the ladies wanted. While Lin is embarrassed by such strange words, Shan notes with disgust that this apology is not sincere at all. One dude in the crowd walks out to Ling Yun holding his boss by the head, pinning his face to the floor. The man points out that the guys have already beaten them up. And yes, they have apologized. He asks them to forget about everything and part ways peacefully. Yoon in turn is very surprised that this bespectacled man can talk. This guy, rubbing the back of his head, replies that he's the deputy headman of the group. If Yoon has any conditions, he can safely present them to him. It's no big deal. It's only a matter of compensation, Ling Yun uttered, looking back at the man. When the guy let go of their boss and stood up and put his hands in his pockets, this dude started saying they already apologized. Yeah, and it was their side that got hit harder. With a fearful look and literally crushing his confidence with his presence, Yoon angrily explains to his interlocutor that they scared his little sister and ruined their dinner. He wonders to the bully how much he thinks it will all cost. What if someone then can't go to university because of the fear? What would be the damage then? Trying to appease the angry boy, the deputy headmaster asks how much they have to pay for it. "Well, since you've admitted your mistakes, we'll agree that you'll just pay our table bill and compensate those beauties for the moral damage with 1 or 2,000. Lin Yun explained with a friendly smile, pleased with himself. The girls standing behind remembered that they had seen a similar situation somewhere before. The bully standing in front of the guy asking for a slightly reduced amount. An exasperated Yoon, looking at him with disdain, says that if he pays the money, it will all be over. Otherwise, our fight will continue. He put the broken bottle to his opponent's throat and added. Lin admiringly notes that Yoon is getting more skillful at extorting money from bullies each time. The frightened man in a trembling voice asks the guy to calm down a bit. Taking a couple steps away from the armed man, the bully reluctantly agrees to just pay. Not only did he beat these guys up, but he also made them pay restitution for it. Ah, Lin Yun is so cool, the green-haired girl shouted enthusiastically as she looked at the guy. At this moment, apologizing, the bully holds out 2,000 to Yun. While the boy is counting the bills, the deputy headman looks pitifully at the money given away. "Don't feel bad, son, there are just some people you can't mess with," Yun says to the depressed bully. The guy himself realizes how lucky they are to live in such a peaceful world. After all, If they were in the cultivation realm, there would already be several corpses lying here. Handsome, tonight's dinner doesn't count, Lin pronounced, walking beside the guy as she left the restaurant. Lingyun doesn't understand this joke. Why? She ate her fill. And what's with this strange treatment? The green-haired girl replies that the young man didn't spend a single yuan. Therefore, it can't be called a treat. It's a strange logic. However, the girl promises to forget about the promised dinner if he promises her one thing. When the guy asks what that thing is, Lin reminds him that he recently started running to lose weight, taking him by the tie and snuggling up to him. The girl, embarrassed, asks a surprised Yoon to be her boyfriend when he loses weight. Everyone around them was shocked at this turn of events. Tanman, who was standing behind, smiling rather smilingly, remarked that this prank was worth coming here today. Coughing slightly, Lingyun asks the girl who suddenly grabbed his hand to talk about it a little later. Angry and clinging tightly to her, Lin demands the guy to promise her right now. A long pause followed after these words. Puzzled, Yun doesn't know what to answer her. He can't make a decision so quickly. Lin, it's getting late. The evening self-study will start soon, so it's time to go back to school. Shan said angrily, turning to her insolent friend, not about to let go of the guy. The green-haired girl turned around, giving the indignant goddess a strange look. As an exasperated Shan pulls her along, reluctantly unhooking herself from the dazed young man, Lin says she'll let him go this time. The goddess, without looking back at her now ex-girlfriend, accelerated like a race car with the goal of getting this girl away from here. When the two suspicious individuals left, the shocked Lin Yun still stood staring into the void for a long time, unable to understand what the hell that was just now. At that moment, the sister coming up behind him brings the boy out of his senseless musings on the futility of existence. She excitedly asks her brother if he will return to school with them today. Soon it will be time for the evening self-training. Yoon replies to his sister that he has to go out for some errands. He'll come back later. Hugging his bro, Tanman, smiling, asks Linju not to worry. He'll go with this dude so nothing will happen. Yoon responds by saying that he doesn't need him to accompany him. While the young man looks at him bewildered, the blue-haired boy explains that no one knows the neighborhood of that school better than he does. Whatever the friend is going to do there, he will help him. Turning around and walking off in an unknown direction, Lingyun reluctantly agrees to go along with Tanman. Standing next to Hanlin, the pink-haired girl is angry that her brother has started skipping classes again. He said he was going to study hard just a little while ago. However, despite this, Hanlin, smiling and looking at the guy leaving, observes that Lingyun has really changed a lot lately. Also looking at her brother in the distance with fascination, Lin agrees with the young man. She has a feeling that her brother will get better and better in the future. Late afternoon of the same day, the classroom where Lin Yun's sister is studying. A distraught girl with pink hair leaning on her arm sits sadly at her desk. Linju lay down on the table disappointedly, not understanding why her brother still hadn't returned. He had promised to come for self-training. At that moment, a classmate runs into the classroom and calls for the girl. Her brother and Tanman came to see her. Walking into the classroom in his new gym clothes, the guy is holding a heavy bag in his hand. Standing next to him, Tanman asked the surprised Linju if she had missed them. The girl immediately pounces on her brother, hugging him. She asks Yoon why he was gone for so long. Still standing in the doorway, the blue-haired guy, while Linju hugs his friend, disappointedly realizes that he has been completely ignored. Holding out the bag to his sister, Lingyun says there's something inside for her. He asks her to open it and see if she likes it. Having laid out the contents on the table, the girl notices a lot of different expensive equipment. A new phone, headphones, a camera, a laptop and some other strange thing. Write in the comments what it is. I do not understand. Brother, so when you said you were going on business, you went to buy me all these things. Looking at these things in surprise, the girl uttered, confirming. The guy replies that his sis must have everything that others have and don't have. The surprised classmates don't understand how Lin Yun managed to buy the latest models. It's not cheap. What's going on? Isn't their family so poor that they can't even afford to eat at the school cafeteria? Is it really true that this guy took a lot of money from Junf? Brother, sister said quietly, lowering her eyes. Looking at her worriedly, The young man doesn't realize what he did wrong. Doesn't she like it? The girl explains that he has misunderstood her. In fact, she is happy. Raising her head and wiping away tears of joy. Her sister says with a smile that he shouldn't have spent so much on her. She doesn't use it all anyway. You don't use all of these. You don't even know how to use them, Maina said mockingly as she walked up with her boyfriend. Pointing a finger at her, Tanman asks the girl to watch her tongue. Waving the blue-haired guy away, she continues to taunt. She reminds Linju that their family is poor, so who knows where her worthless brother got it all from. Such insolent words infuriate Tanman. Clenching his trembling fists, he decides that today he must teach her a good lesson. But at that moment, a young man in a sports coat grabs his friend's arm, calming down the blue-haired guy. Lingyun asks him to stay out of it. So you're the one getting in my sister's way? Yun asked irritably, walking over to the offending girl and folding his arms. Lingyun, what do you want? Blocking his path. Looking at him coldly, Junyang asked. The surprised boy looked at him suspiciously, pointing his finger at him. Lingyun asks the guy who he is. Tensing up, the interlocutor introduces himself as Junyang. Coming up behind him, Linju asks his brother to stay out of it and forget it. Hiding behind him and grabbing his arm, his sister explains that the guy is probably already tired today. She asks him not to waste his energy on people like that. Alright, have it your way, Yun exhaled, looking at his sister, pointing his finger at Junyang again. Lingyun gives a small speech to everyone in the classroom right now, looking him in the eye. I'm warning everyone, if anyone dares to bully my little sister or hurt her in any way, I'll make him pay for it, shouted the boy across the office. Hearing this, the classmates start discussing something again. They are shocked at what is happening here. Fatty is no longer a weakling. He has the strength to fight. He started acting like this after he beat up Little Junfa. Little Junfa, I think the fat man called him that during the fight. Walking out of the classroom, Tanman wonders to his friend why he didn't do anything. The blue-haired guy would have loved to beat up that bastard Junyang. You would have lost to him. Warming up, Yoon explains confidently. Tanman wonders why the guy is so sure he can't beat the brat. Lingyun wouldn't tell him this, but just now, when he pointed his finger at Junyang, not only did he not twitch, but he was 100% ready to attack. This guy, he is definitely a skilled warrior, and his strength is considerable. Without answering Tanman's question, the young man asks him to go home, and he goes to practice. The blue-haired boy doesn't understand why his friend is going to train so late. Until this day, a cultivator had yet to meet a worthy opponent in this world, and so he wasn't particularly motivated to train hard. He barely dragged the heavy 25-kilogram bag with sand and threw it on the ground. The guy exhaustedly waddled to the river where he had been at the beginning of his journey and came to the flower. Taking a seat next to the 7 rays grass, he prepared to retemper his body with Kai cultivation. Now things were finally getting more interesting. Seated on the grass in the lotus posture, concentrating, the guy uses the secret technique of the 50 stars. At the initial level, it allows one to absorb the essence of heaven and earth to strengthen one's body. If you practice it to the extreme, you can even feel equal with the sky and the earth, and use all the power of the sun, moon and stars to your advantage. However, at this moment, a significant problem occurs, preventing the secret technique from flowing. The cultivator had forgotten that the meridians in this body had not yet been restored. This caused him to tense up a lot and begin to ooze sweat profusely. Overwhelming himself, Lingyun tries not to let such a small problem give him a hard time, especially since he now has all the time in the world. Stabilizing the tense situation, the guy continued to absorb the flower's energy. Finished with that, he looked at his hand. Great! The absorption rate had become much faster, and the body could hold twice as much spiritual power as before. Finally, Lingyun had managed to reach the first level of body hardening. Grabbing the handle of the sandbag that the guy had barely dragged to the river before, with a single movement of his hand, Yun tossed it a dozen meters above his head. Then, stepping back a little, he took a long stride and swung his leg and kicked with all his might at the 25-kilogram sandbag. The bag flew several dozen meters away, bouncing off the ground a couple of times. Although Lingyun had not broken through to the second level as he had hoped, it was enough for now. What's really needed right now is a handy weapon. The capital of China, Beijing, a huge villa of some rich man. Beautiful girl vulgarly dancing on a pole, quite hugging the two girls and holding a glass of expensive champagne in his outstretched hand. The golden-haired man asks the dancer to spread her legs even wider. At that moment, a couple of messages arrive on a phone lying nearby. The irritated man takes it in his hand and looks to see which bastard is interrupting his rest. "I got a funny fatty here," wrote an unknown person and uploaded a video of Lingyun running with a bag on his back on a treadmill near the school. This message greatly shocks the man. "Damn it," he shrieked angrily, pushing the girls sitting next to him away from him in anger. In the middle of the night, the phone rings. A sleepy man reaches out his hand to accept the incoming call. "Hello," bringing the device to his ear. The man says questioningly without opening his eyes, "Chen-sen, didn't you tell me that you killed that bastard? Why is he still alive and well?" The golden-haired man shouted angrily into the phone. Jumping out of bed, the surprised hitman doesn't understand what alive and well means. How is that possible? He hit that fat guy himself with a truck. "Do you want the video? I paid you 20 million, and this is what you do," the golden-haired man said disappointedly. In an attempt to justify himself, the hitman tells Mr. Ling Xiao that it would be a piece of cake to kill this brat. Would he cheat? He really should be dead. If he's still kicking, someone must have saved him. The assassin tells the young gentleman that he has heard that there is a doctor of Chinese medicine in Qingshui City who is rumored to be able to put even the dead back on their feet and is known as Master Shu. The golden-haired man says in surprise that this is impossible. No matter how good Master Shu's skills are, he definitely can't resurrect a dead person. This bastard could come back to life unless the person who saved him was not an ordinary person at all. Not wanting to believe it, the hitman asks him if he really thinks the guy was saved by those people. The Lin and Chen families are at the absolute top of the pyramid in this country. Therefore, they know much more than ordinary people. For example, the fact that there are cultivators in this world. Some of them belong to ancient Chinese families who study martial arts and hide in the city. And some are secretive sects nestled in the mountains. But after all, these people are mysterious and secretive, and ordinary people have no way of encountering them. Even Chen Sen's grandfather, the hitman, would respect them if he met them. He excitedly asks Lin what they will do now. They've messed with those big uncles. They're finished. Lin Xiao, fixing his hair, asks him not to make a fuss. This fat pig is of no interest to them. Anyway, he asks Chen Sen to stay out of it from now on and says that he will arrange everything himself. Dropping the call, the golden-haired man tosses the phone onto the couch, sipping champagne again. Xiao recalls the conversation with his father and uncle at the table. "Remember, son, even if you are the eldest grandchild of the Lin family, it doesn't mean that the position of the future head of the family will necessarily be yours," explains the father, instructing his son. After hugging his nephew, his uncle asks him not to be upset by being the eldest grandchild. If anyone is hurting, it's him. After all, he has to watch his second brother's 3 sons fight amongst themselves. Ling Xiao agrees. The third uncle has an easier time of it. He has only one daughter who can't become the head of the family. "So you'll support me, third uncle?" With a sinister smile, Xiao inquired of the man. The man who hugged him confirmed. Still, this guy was the only one who remembered to keep him company from time to time. However, after a while, Ling Xiao heard a quarrel between his third uncle and the head of the family, his grandfather. "Shameless man, how dare you secretly raise a child out of wedlock?" Slapping the man, the head of the family shouted angrily. The third uncle objected. "He didn't raise him. He left him in the wilderness as soon as he was born." Chasing the man out of the house, the head of the family ordered him to find and return the boy. His grandson, whoever he is, must not be allowed to grow up on the streets. The third uncle asks his father to calm down. He promises to send someone to find Lingyun. Shattering the glass with anger, simply clenching his hand, Ling Xiao can't understand why the wholesome bastard's life even matters. Rewinding his wounded palm, he makes a phone call and orders to immediately send an assassin to Qingshui Middle School to kill a man named Lingyun and deliver the body to him. This time he wants to personally verify his death. The night of the same day, the dormitory. Lingyun has the flying needle technique. And at his current level, It can easily hit without missing at a distance of up to 10 meters. With his knowledge of the meridians of the body, silver needles can also be used to heal and save the sick. It's the best weapon for him at the moment. There's just one problem. Where can he get silver needles that will fulfill his requirements? Sobbing and holding the useless pens in his hands, Yoon thought. Hanlon asks his restless friend to go to bed because it's very late. Saturday morning, high school stadium. Over the past few days, the guy has developed a general understanding. The common sense of mortals in this world has acceptable limits. Therefore, Lingyun will no longer be able to practice during the day in this stadium. The people standing around are looking at the guy suspiciously. Is that Lingyun? Has he lost weight? He looks much better now. However, the young man will now try to keep a low profile and not draw much attention to himself. Noticing Lingyun coming to the sports field, Li Lei, who tried to stop the guy from running a lap last time, yells at him that he didn't allow him to be here. Looking at this jerk, Yoon doesn't understand why he's still here. His friends don't seem to be happy about his foolish friend's antics either. "Stupid pig, stomp over here for a slap," shouted Li Lei, snapping out of his seat. Not wanting to spoil his mood, the bully, taking pity on the guy, decides to go with just a couple of punches. He put his hand behind his back and threw a swinging punch, but Lingyun simply stopped his hand by grabbing the retard's wrist. At the same moment, he swung around and made a retaliatory attack to the face. The slap was of such force that the opponent, having been struck on the cheek, flew a short distance away and fell on his ass. "Did you call me for a slap? Trust me, I'll provide you with them." With a menacing look at the opponent below him, the angry Lingyun said. When the young man brought his palm up to Li Lei's face, the frightened bully cried out in fear, asking what Yun was going to do, and demanded not to walk any closer. For the next few minutes, loud slapping noises echoed throughout the stadium. Lingyun was slapping his palm on the bully's face like a true heavy metal band drummer. Everyone watching this virtuoso percussionist's magnificent performance noticed that Li Lei, who was practicing karate, didn't have a chance to fight back. He will be beaten to a pulp if this continues. At the same second, the guy struck the final blow of this magnificent symphony. The bully's nose and mouth bled. Without even grouping up, the karateka falls backwards onto the treadmill. While a battered Li Lei tries to get back on his feet, Yoon tells him to get the hell out of here so he doesn't get hurt even more. Or does he want the guy to switch to wind instruments? Despite such a huge number of missed punches, Li Lei, practically losing consciousness, still jumps off with a scream, trying to grab the guy with both hands around his neck. The annoyed Yun is surprised that this weirdo still can't get enough. Without straining, the young man grabs the bully's arm, then with a sharp motion, topples the karateka over his shoulder with his back on the ground. Immediately afterward, the guy gives a loud speech for every student in the school to hear. "Hi, Lingyun, I'm always kind to the good, mean to the bad. As long as I'm not attacked, I won't respond in any way, but if someone decides to hurt me, I will repay them 100-fold. Lingyun, he's an interesting dude," said aloud the girl who was watching the fight nearby. Late afternoon of the same day, city center. Returning to the dormitory last night, Yoon saw a pharmacy. He decides to make a quick stop by and see if he can buy silver needles there. "Lingyun, wait a moment," a girl approaching from behind said. Turning around, the cultivator saw an interesting display. He had never encountered such a thing before, not even in the cultivation world. So big, so thin, so long. The girl asked the guy if he'd had enough or if she could wait a little longer. Scratching the back of his head, Yoon replies that that's enough for today. He asks the stranger why she called out to him. The girl replies that her name is Shu Mining, but the young man is allowed to call himself Ning. She is in the second grade of middle school. She suddenly wonders where the boy is going. He replies to the strange girl, looking her in the eye, that he was going to buy something. Grabbing his hand, Ninji tells the guy that she's going with him. Lingyun, grinning, asks if she's afraid the young man will kidnap her. Abruptly turning around and hugging the guy, the girl replies that the odds of her kidnapping him are much higher. Trying to get the burden off his back, Lingyun explains that he's going after the silver needles, and the girls are hardly interested. Silver needles? What do you need them for? Approaching face to face, Nini inquired. Whenever, sometimes to stab so it doesn't hurt, sometimes to make it hurt. Without taking his eyes off her, the boy explained. Nin, do you want me to try them out on you first? Grinning eerily, the guy offered intimidatingly. Stepping away from him, the girl tried her best to hold back her laughter, then left Yuna puzzled. In that case, Nine suggests that the guy come with her. Their family has not only silver needles, but also a bunch of golden needles. He will be able to choose whatever his soul desires. Lingyun looked at the stranger suspiciously. Golden needles? This is the manna of heaven. No, how could it be so lucky? Who are you, and for what purpose have you come to me? The young man asked incredulously with a change in his face. Nine didn't understand why the boy was angry all of a sudden. Exhaling, she explains that her grandfather happened to see Yoon running around in a circle with a sandbag, and he was curious to meet the guy. If the young man pleases him, perhaps then he can pick up any needles for free. Of course, Lingyun can't refuse the freebie. He asks for more details from now on. Since her grandfather is a doctor of Chinese medicine, the number of different needles after treating patients he keeps accumulating. Trust me, since you need silver needles. Turning around, the girl said. After a few minutes, the two of them are already in a cab. Naturally, Lingyun couldn't refuse the free silver needles. However, he cannot understand one thing. Why is Nina clinging to him like that? There's plenty of room. When he asked her to sit down a little, she looked at his face and flatly refused. She explains to the young man that she needs to hold him back. He might run away. At that moment, the girl noticed something interesting outside the car window. Lingyun, are you seeing this? Pressing against the glass, Ning inquired. Pretending to be curious, the guy tries to look out the window. However, there was one small problem that hindered him greatly. How insidious. How can you use such a trick? As if I could move while you're sitting like that. Realizing that he was trapped, the young man thought. Late evening of the same day, Cottage Village Cleanstream. A car with passengers stopped at the entrance to the property. Just as the girl decided to open the door and get out, Lingyun stops and asks where she's going. Ning replies that they have arrived and it's time to get out. Or do you want me to sit next to you some more? The girl turned around and looked at the guy, but reality is cruel. No, it's just that you didn't pay the fare. And there's more than 40 yuan there, by the way. Looking stone-faced at her, Yun replied. There was a loud silence. Immediately afterward, he was perplexed to see Nini cast a strange look at him. It was as if he had become repulsive to her. The girl simply opened the door and stepped out of the car. Slamming the door shut, she said she had no money, and he had to pay himself. Left alone with the agitated driver, the boy looks perplexed at Nini. Why did you take a cab if you don't have any money? At that moment, the cab driver thanked him for using their services and asked him to scan the code for payment. Can I get a discount for the first ride? The guy awkwardly asked the infuriated driver. In the next second, Lingyun is standing on the street, swallowing dust from under the wheels of a quickly departing car. Well, no, so no. Why get angry at once? The boy said with a frightened look. Yuna is surprised by this place. There is such a dense spiritual energy here. You can also smell the precious medicinal herbs. Now he was even curious to meet Ninja's grandfather. Abruptly turning around at the entrance to the house, the girl warns the boy that when he enters, he must behave respectfully toward her grandfather and not argue with him in any way. The young man replies that he is not some rascal. He gets along easily with everyone and almost never has a conflict. But Nini doesn't agree with that. He's been at her for a while. Once inside, the girl informed her grandfather that she was back. In turn, the elderly man replies that he has known about it for a long time. Her lectures under the door could be heard even from here. Nine, embarrassed, explains that he must have heard her. So you are the Lingyun that my precious granddaughter praised so much. With a satisfied look at the young man, the old man said. At this point, his speech slurred and he coughed. Coughing, the elderly man asks his granddaughter to prepare tea for the guest and use his best lunging. He invites the guest to take a seat across from him. He explains that his granddaughter has been pampered since she was a baby so she grew up a bit urchin-like. The grandfather asks the boy if she's given him any trouble. Yoon replies that nothing of the sort has happened, but she's just too spunky, which makes it hard to deal with her. Taking a seat at the table, Lingyun notices something strange. From the looks of it, this old man is strong and alert, but there's something wrong with his lungs. Sitting across from him, the guy notices that Master Shu just coughed. He wonders if the man has a lung problem. The old man replies that it's an old problem, and it doesn't bother him in any way. He actually really wanted to see Lingyun in person. The grandfather explains that he saw a young man running on a sports field with a 25-kilogram sandbag, spitting blood out of his mouth. He, you could say, flew the second half of the laps. The old man wondered how that had happened. He's also very concerned about the guy's physical condition. He asks permission to feel his pulse. Leaning over the young man, the old man touches his wrist with his fingertips. Weird, very strange. Frowning, Master Shu whispered. He then shifted his gaze to Yun without removing his hand from his pulse. Puzzled, the healer tells him that the guy's life force is much more than that of a normal person, but the pulse in the yang energy meridians confuses him. Obviously, Lingyun's body must be very weak. The astonished guy doesn't understand how the old man was able to find out so much just by touching him once. If even an ordinary Chinese medicine doctor is so good, wouldn't the one at the peak be on par with Yun? A long dialogue followed. The old man asks the guy if he has met any special people lately. Lingyun replies that he hasn't seen anyone like that. Maybe he ate something unusual. That's out too. The young man eats at the school cafeteria like everyone else. Then the doctor asked what time he got up and went to bed, and if there were any abnormalities in his body. To all this, the young man did not answer anything supernatural. Coughing again, the old man remarks that in that case, it must have been the blood the boy spit out while running with the bag, but that couldn't have caused such an effect. It just doesn't make sense. Awkwardly scratching the back of his head, Lingyun doesn't know whether to tell the doctor that it's all because he absorbed immortal Kai and purified his bone marrow, except he's afraid that Master Shu will be scared to death. Walking over with a tea set in hand, Ning asks her grandfather how things are going with Lingyun's body. Is it curable? The old man reassures his granddaughter, explaining that the guy's physique is now several times stronger than a normal person. The recipe he had originally prepared would be useless. When Yoon inquired about the recipe in question, Ninj, setting the cups on the table, explained that her grandfather had found out what had happened to the young man. He had specially prepared a recipe that would restore Yun's body. She tells the boy that he has no idea what he's missing. How many people in the world begged her grandfather to take care of their treatment? After coughing a couple of times, the elderly man asks his granddaughter to choose her words carefully. A healer's duty is to treat and save sick people. Yes, whatever you say, grandfather. Leaning awkwardly towards Master Shu, the girl apologized. Looking at the elderly man with a good-natured smile, the boy is surprised that this old man has such a good heart. He decides to help the man. Master, I came here today to ask for something. Getting down to business, Lingyun said. The surprised old man didn't expect that the young man had come to ask for something. He didn't have anything special except things related to Chinese medicine. Turning to her grandfather, Ning explained that Lingyun wanted silver needles. The guy tells me that he doesn't need a lot of needles, just 9, but they have to be a slightly unusual shape. One is a thin needle, 1 inch long. The second is a round tip needle, also 1 inch. The third is a blunt needle 3.5 inches. Fourth. At these words, the old man dropped the tea cup from his hands, spilling the drink. The canon of the mysterious essence of the 9 kinds of needles. The grandfather and granddaughter shouted in surprise in a voice. The girl asks Lingyun if he knows what he's talking about now. When the guy sipping tea confidently confirmed, Master Shu asked his young friend to honestly say whether he really possessed the canon of the mysterious essence of the 9 kinds of needles. Without speaking aloud and looking at Yun hopefully, the old man can't believe that he has met someone who is proficient in this canon. Still, he's basically one of the most advanced needle techniques. The Yellow Emperor's treatise on the innermost states that there are 9 unobstructed organs in the human body, which are the 9 major spiritual centers in the body. They are the key to crossing the work of the 12 major meridians and unpaired meridians in the 8 veins of the body. The canon of the mysterious essence of the 9 kinds of needles is the method of inserting needles into these 9 points. With this method, if a person is still breathing, even the most serious injuries can be saved. But this method was lost long ago and no one has ever seen it in person. Master Shu. The shout of the guy whose hand the old man had clutched in shock brought the older man out of his deep thoughts about the canon. Letting him go, the old man apologizes for his loss of possession. Looking at him, Lingyun doesn't understand why Master Shu is so excited. Isn't the canon of the mysterious essence of the 9 kinds of needles the most common needle technique? In the past, a cultivator had stopped using it even since he had reached the Kai melting stage. In turn, Ning, looking suspiciously at the guy, realizes that the canon of the mysterious essence of the 9 kinds of needles can only be used with innate true Kai. How could Lingyun, an 18-year-old middle school student who had just overcome his physical limitations, have such a level of cultivation? Lingyun, that bastard, you're lying about everything, the girl shouted angrily in the young man's face, grabbing him by the scruff of the neck. Rascal, decided to mess with my grandfather's body. Nini continues to shout without calming down. At this point, after yelling at his granddaughter, the old man asks to let the guy go. Lingyun asks the girl if she'll believe him if he tells her exactly what's wrong with her grandfather. Intrigued, with a disdainful look in the guy's eyes, Nin agrees to give him one chance to prove everything. The young man begins to explain. Master Shu has a cough that won't stop. At first glance, it seems to be a lung problem. But the root of the problem lies in the heart. The surprised old man asks how the guy could tell with one look. He didn't even feel his pulse. While the elderly man coughs out, Lingyun explains that the heart and tongue among the 5 elements belong to fire. Master Shu's tongue is purple in color with a dark greenish tint at the tip. This is a clear result of excessively strong heart fire. Fire suppresses iron, and the lungs belong to this element. When heart fire is too strong, it begins to harm the yin energy meridians in the lungs. This naturally leads to lung insufficiency and constant coughing. When a concerned Nini asks the guy why her grandfather's heartstrings are so strong, Yoon replies that it's quite simple. He's been using too many strengthening agents. Coughing again, the old man says that he believes Lingyun. He asks the boy to get ready to insert the needles. In turn, the granddaughter wonders why her grandfather is taking so many strengthening herbs. She tearfully asks the young man to tell her. After all, her grandfather almost eats them instead of food. The boy appeals to the old man to tell her everything himself. After all, she is his own granddaughter, and Yoon can see that she cares about her grandfather. After thinking for a bit, Master Shu didn't mind talking about everything. Ning, the reason why your grandfather uses so many herbs is because he has a living being in his body, Lingyun said, looking at the worried girl's face. She asks the older man how there can be anything alive in him. What the hell is this? Grabbing her grandfather's hand, Nini asks dazedly. Frowning and glaring at his granddaughter, the old man asked her not to panic. The living thing inside me is a poisonous parasite. 40 years ago, when a man traveled to the Miao territories in search of a higher path of healing, by coincidence, he saved a girl from the Miao tribe. It turned out that she was the Holy Maiden of Miao territory. She was a great master in the art of healing and perfecting parasites. The time spent talking to her was one of the happiest times of his life. However, when his medical skills stopped improving, he decided to leave the Miao territories. The man didn't realize that Miao Fenghuang had already fallen in love with him and wanted him to stay with her forever. But he was already married to Nine's grandmother, and he had a son, her father. Could he just forget about them? However, Master Shu did not expect her to have a hand in his food. The granddaughter immediately realized where her grandfather was leading her. So that night, yes, she planned it so that I couldn't avoid it. Scratching the back of his head awkwardly, the old man confirmed his granddaughter's guess. Except, looking at this old Cossack, Lingyun feels like the man didn't even try to resist back then. Alas, she had planted a love parasite in him. After making love, this parasite penetrates into the body of another person and does not allow him to forget his partner for the rest of his life. And if someone forgets, the parasite will eat away at his heart, and the pain will be so intense that death will seem the only way out. A surprised Ning wonders to her grandfather how beautiful this Miao Fenghuang was. Coughing, The old man replies that she was indeed a beauty, the likes of which are rarely seen. Then why did you give her up? Why didn't you take her home? Dumbfounded by her grandfather, the girl inquires curiously. Yoon in turn looks at all this awkwardly and silently notes how stiff and straightforward her words were, laughing and coughing more and more each time. The old man asks his granddaughter not to make him laugh. He couldn't take her with him. After all, he already had a loving wife. Yoon realizes, however, that it's unlikely the man hadn't thought of that option. Continuing to narrate, Master Shu narrated that one day, because Miao Fengyuan had relaxed, the effects of the parasite had weakened. That was the day he had the chance to escape from the Miao territories. But the man couldn't get the parasite to leave his body, so he had to find a way to suppress it. And so you had to take all the medicinal herbs to strengthen your heart and spleen to increase the firepower in your body and suppress the pain from the parasite. Lingyun concluded this monologue, inserting his sentence on top of the old man's words. The young man observes that Master Shu has really had a hard time living for the past 40 years. Ninj wondered to her grandfather why this girl didn't start looking for him later, if she was so persistent and loved him so much. And she was looking, the old man said grimly. Except your grandmother met her before I did. A surprised Nin wondered what had happened when they met and what they had discussed between them. Master Shu said that he didn't know what they had talked about that day. But after that, Miao Fengyuan returned to the Miao territories, and he never saw her again. The granddaughter asks what about the parasite? Couldn't the grandmother have asked the girl to rid the man of it? The old man replies that his wife said that he himself provoked the affair. And this love parasite and suffering is the price he has to pay. Yes, her grandmother was obviously a very cruel person, but fair. Master Shu told the whole story. Coughing, he asked Lingyun's young friend to start inserting the needles. Bringing a small wooden chest from the house, the old man placed it on the table and slowly opened it. Inside lay another small box filled to the top with spiritual energy. Lingyun was very much surprised by what he saw. Wow, he keeps the golden needles in a box made of spiritual jades. Taking out a jade box from the chest, the old man opened it. Then I'll begin. Asking permission and glancing at the older man, the boy said. Running up to Lingyun, a worried Ning hugs him and asks the guy to take care of her grandfather. Choking up, the young man asks the girl not to worry and just rely on him, leaving the house to stay out of the guy's way. The girl gives him one last warning that if anything happens to her grandfather, Yoon will be hunted by a lot of people. At this moment, the old man noticed how the guy just immediately took the needles in his hand. Young friend Lingyun washed the needle. What is it? Turning his attention to the man, the lad asks indifferently without letting him finish. The frightened old man says it's nothing much and wonders to the young man if he forgot to do something elsewhere. Yoon replies that it's fine and it's light outside as it is. What about disinfection? Never mind. Master Shu thought doomfully. Immediately afterward, the man takes off his shirt and sits down with his back to the guy. Right now, Lingyun only needed to use these needles to transfer spiritual energy to Master Shu's acupuncture points. But what's going on? Why can't he engage spiritual energy? The Kai movement technique of the 24 gods, illusory true Kai movement technique, supreme Kai movement technique, heavenly circle Kai movement technique. After trying all these methods, Li Yun tries to fill the golden needles with spiritual energy. Nothing has changed. If he stops there, that girl will definitely explode with anger. Shaking his head around, the guy tries to find any way he can to solve the problem. How about going outside and running a couple of kilometers to expel the spiritual energy? But in that moment, looking down, he finds a solution. This is it. He could just absorb the spiritual energy of this jade box and use it to stimulate the flow of energy in his body. If he sacrifices this spiritual energy for the benefit of the old man, he still won't give him his strength and will go to zero. Lingyun's special talent, the ability to absorb the spiritual energy of all things. In the same second, the guy absorbed all the spiritual energy of the jade box and poured it into the golden needles. It really worked. With a needle in hand, Lingyun tells Mr. Shu that he is using acupuncture to suppress the parasite. Though it will only stop affecting the old man for about 2 months, the man will have to settle the meridians in his lungs during that time. to temporarily get rid of his cough. The guy warns the elderly man that the process will be very painful and asks him to be patient. The young man stuck the first needle into Master Shu's back. The pain made the man clench his fists hard and sweat. After sticking 8 needles into the old man already, Lingyun warns that only the last one is left. Stabbing it into the last spot, all the golden needles connected with each other with spiritual energy. From the unbearable pain, Master Shu screamed, then spat out a clot of blood from his mouth. A worried granddaughter runs out of the house and fearfully asks her grandfather if he is okay. Why did he vomit blood? So this is the canon of the mysterious essence of the 9 kinds of needles. It's incomprehensible. The old man is incredibly surprised by what has happened to him. He feels like he has a brand new body. For his part, Lingyun still doesn't understand what the elderly man is even surprised about. Looking at the guy, Master Shu allows the young man to take those golden needles for himself. When he pulls them back from his back, Lingyun can't believe that Master really wants to give them to him. Laughing, the old man explains his decision by saying that even if you search all of China, Yun is the only one who can use them properly. So who else but him? Obedience is better than politeness. Then I will gladly accept them, the boy said enthusiastically. Standing next to him and taking her eyes away from him, Ninj remarks that she has never seen such people who can't even say thank you after receiving a gift. It's true. I cured your grandfather, but I never heard a thank you. It's the first time I've met one of those two. Catching on to her sloppy words, leaning over to the dumbfounded girl, Lingyun said, after saying how the guy is a fool. The girl, embarrassed, still quietly thanks the young man. What? I can't hear you. Scoffing at her, the guy shouted. An angry Nin, grabbing him by the ear, yells that she won't say it twice. If he didn't hear it, let him forget it. The old man watching reminds his granddaughter that Lingyun is her grandfather's savior, and so she should be nicer to the guy. The girl grudgingly agrees with her grandfather, while Yun standing behind her laughs discreetly. However, that wasn't all. The boy still had one more request for Master Shu. I knew it. Give you a finger, you'll bite your whole hand off. Looking at Yun, the girl grinned. The young man asks the old man for a set of regular silver needles in addition to the gold needles, so that he won't have to look for them later. Laughing, the old man says it's not enough to repay. There's no need to talk about one set. He could give him all 10. Placing a set of silver needles on the table, Master Shu asked the fellow how he felt about these. An indignant Nin notices that it's a set used by Grandpa himself. Scratching his head, Lingyun explains that he will only need these needles for an emergency, so something simple will do. Grasping the young man's hand in admiration, the old man explains that these needles will gain maximum effectiveness only in his hands. He is sure that with their help the boy will cure a large number of sick people. Awkwardly looking at Master Shu, the guy wouldn't say it, but he needs the needles more for self-defense. The girl wonders when Lingyun will be able to completely remove the parasite from her grandfather's body. Guy explains that about 2 months later, Master Shu's body will have recovered enough at that point. Taking a strange look at the young man and not letting him go, the admiring Master Shu says that he is counting on him. Same night, somewhere in the Miao territories, an elderly woman, kneeling, expectorates a clod of blood onto the floor. Her lover's parasite. Who the hell is it? Who could suppress the heart-eating parasite? Shuzhenki, do you really think you can run away from this just because you found some expert? I'm not going to let you go. Sitting by the riverbank, a group of girls try to find out from Miao Xiao, who has been to the city once, what the world outside the mountains is like. Are the men on the street handsome? Are they better than Brother June from their settlement? Xiao tells me that there are tall buildings outside, even taller than the mountain in the distance. And there are also cars there that drive fast. Suddenly she hears someone scream. As she runs away from her friends, she anxiously explains to them that her mother is calling her. She promises to tell them the rest tomorrow. Running into the room, the girl notices her mother sitting in lotus position on the floor. Blood is dripping down her clothes. The daughter is horrified and asks her how she hurt herself. The mother asks not to worry about her. She tells her that her love parasite has been suppressed, causing her to be affected by the recoil. Looking pitifully at the woman, Xiao reminds her that it's been decades. Why does she continue to suffer? The girl suggests simply bringing the parasite back, An angry mother yells at her daughter asking her to shut up. The woman angrily explains that since she put her parasite on him, it means he's the only one she likes in this life, and she'll never get the parasite back. Trying to calm her mother down, Xiao admits that she blurted it out without thinking. After calming down, the woman explains that the man who suppressed her parasite is very skilled. She can't deal with him from this distance, but he's already marked with the aura of a heart-eating parasite. Miao Xiao had inherited the voodoo curse technique, and so she must go looking for him tomorrow. The worried girl reminds her mother that this man was able to take control of even a heart-eating parasite. Will she be able to deal with him alone? The elderly woman responds by explaining that although this person is very skillful, his cultivation level is extremely low. With the voodoo technique, the daughter can easily crush him when he is in a very agonizing position and starts looking for a way to save his life. The girl must force him to release the parasite. In addition to this, the mother asks Miao Xiao to remember that there are no good men on the outside. She asks her to remember her mother's lesson, asks her daughter not to give in to temptation when outside the settlement. Xiao convinces the woman that she will never like outsider men. A red sports car comes to a stop on the road. The door opens and the driver puts his left foot on the ground. The doorman standing at the entrance notices a luxury car and a beautiful woman driving it. Who's the big shot here? A flower in cow dung. Lingyun, who got out of the passenger seat, noticed that this car was much better and more comfortable than the cab. He asks Ning what this beautiful place is. The girl replies that it is King Shui restaurant. Grandpa earlier said that she should personally take the guy to the restaurant and treat him to a good meal. Oh, so it's also free. Great. The young man admiringly muttered as he looked around. The doorman is shocked by this strange conversation. There is an incredible amount of delicious and expensive food on the table. Nine tries to call out to Yoon, while the guy is eating everything on the table at supersonic speed. The girl, looking at him shamefully, asks if it's too much. The satisfied guy replies almost exactly as Lin once told him, if someone gives you a treat, you have to eat to your heart's content. Otherwise, there's a lot to lose. Not at all surprised by this response, Nin realizes that this is indeed his nature. As the young man continues his merciless battle with the food, the girl asks him why in that case, he didn't ask for anything when he cured her grandfather. Lingyun is perplexed by such a question. What do you mean you didn't ask for anything? What about the sets of gold and silver needles? However, that was not what Ning had in mind. While the guy reaches for the potatoes with his chopsticks, the girl, without saying so, is perplexed as to how his greedy nature can settle for only 2 sets of needles. Shouldn't he be asking for more at a time like this? Lingyun, you probably still don't know what my grandfather's status is, right? The girl mockingly said while looking at the foolish guy she thought. At that moment, he placed the chopsticks on the table. No, of course I do. The young man replied confidently, finally noticing Nini sitting next to him. The pleasantly surprised girl wonders what the guy knows about her grandfather. Yun tells him that Master Shu is a skillful practitioner of Chinese medicine. Oh, and he's also a heartbreaker who dumped his sweetheart. Ling Yun addressed the guy an exasperated girl, closing her eyes. The angry girl shouted at the young man at the top of her voice, not to dare to talk about her grandfather like that. Stepping closer and swinging his fist, he yells that if he continues, let him not blame her for being rude. But at that moment, Lin Yun takes her hand. Then he yanks her wrist and pulls the surprised girl against him. Why don't you start by keeping your promise? The guy reminded her, saying it in her ear. Embarrassed, Ninj looked him in the face and asked what promise was even in question. Have you already forgotten? Yun asked her, leaning even closer to her. Half an hour ago. Until Lin Yun held a cannon of the mysterious essence of the 9 kinds of needles. Thumbing her finger at the guy, Ninj tells him that if he doesn't cure her girlfriend after bragging so much here, she'll strip him naked and throw him into King Shui Lake to feed the fish. It's cruel, of course, but the guy wonders what will happen if he does cure him. How will you repay me then? Smilingly asks Ling Yun to the girl. Embarrassed, Nini promises that if the young man can really cure her grandfather, she will let him kiss her. Counting on that answer, Yun naturally agreed, pulling Ning close to her. Ling Yun looked into her eyes, wondering if she had really decided to renege on her words. In response, the girl quietly mouthed that she always keeps her promises. "Then I kiss," utters the boy. However, unable to stand it, Nin, pushing him away, asks him to stop. She recalls that they made a deal for Yoon to completely cure Grandpa. Before kissing her, the girl demands of the guy that he completely remove the parasite from the old man's body. Smiling, the young man replies that in that case, he would have no problem waiting 2 months. Blushing again, Ning doesn't understand how this dumbus Lingyun can talk about her first kiss so lightly. At the same moment she jumped off his lap and sat down at the chair opposite. And then, still embarrassed, she began to devour the food on the table at a great speed. Looking at this, Lingyun didn't expect this trick to be so effective. Now she was in no mood to ask him about anything else. Of course he knows that Master Shu has an unusual status. Not everyone can afford to live in such a large mansion on such an expensive land. Besides, his speech has the grandeur of a high-ranking person. How can he be an ordinary person? If Lingyun just took a bunch of money from him, their relationship would end there. But since the old man will remember him as the man who almost gratuitously saved his life, he will always look for a way to thank the guy, and will come to his aid at any time. That's exactly the kind of reward a young man needs. He was brought out of his musings by Nina, who grabbed the boy's shoulder sharply. With a wink, she turns to Lingyun. She explains that she'll have to wait another 2 months anyway, and so the girl asks to be taught the canon of the mysterious essence of the 9 kinds of needles. What the hell? She's just recently calmed down, and now she's at it again. Unfortunately or fortunately she can't use the canon without spiritual energy. Out loud, the guy says he can't teach her. After all, it's a unique technique that can't be passed on to others. Then, hugging Lingyun, Ning begs the guy to teach her secretly. That little witch is annoying. If the guy doesn't go for it, I don't think she'll let him go. The young man agrees to train the girl, but only on the condition that she passes a test. An excited Nin agrees and asks the guy how long it will take him. 2 years. Pointing his fingers, Lingyun narrated to her. Perplexed, the girl asks why it took so long. The guy replies that it's because the canon of the mysterious essence of the 9 kinds of needles is a legendary technique. He had to master it for 9 years. Well, it looks like we'll have to go through a lot of trials, Ning said in surprise as she looked at the young man talking nonsense with a serious look. Legacy has to stick to the old rules. If she doesn't, Yoon suggests just forgetting the technique. 2 years is so 2 years. The girl lets him check himself out as much as he wants. Well, let's see how you handle it, Ning, Lingyun said after fooling the girl again. Some time later, night, city center. A red sports car is speeding down the highway. Where are we going? Sitting in the passenger seat, the boy asked Nin. The girl explains that they are heading to King Shui's most upscale shopping center. What is a mall? Based on this body's memories, is it a place where all sorts of things are sold? When Yoon warned Ning that he didn't have any money, she asked him not to worry, she wouldn't need his money. She secretly took Grandpa's card. There's no limit. You can buy whatever you want. Lingyun was fascinated by this kind of behavior. This girl is not shy to take advantage of her family. It's right in his style. After a while, there was a huge traffic jam on the road. Looks like they're stuck here for a long time. What happened out there? Getting out of the car, the guy notices a bunch of people ahead blocking the road. There seems to have been a terrible accident there. It seems serious. The young man suggests we stay in the car for a while. It'll probably be a while. As they get out of the car, the girl says they can't just sit there. They're doctors. We need to see if anyone needs help in there. As Ning pulls him along, Yun can't understand when it was that ordinary students had time to become doctors. As we got closer, conversations began to be heard in the crowd of people. The car that provoked the accident was traveling too fast. The person behind the wheel was likely drunk. He ran a red light, hit 3 passers-by and crashed into a white car before stopping. The 2 schoolgirls were not seriously injured, but that old man was thrown into the air. I don't know if he's still alive. Lingyun, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and get busy saving people. Stepping out from the crowd, Ning said confidently, addressing the guy walking behind her. However, something greatly stressed the turned-around Lingyun. Shake it off, this feeling. Someone in the crowd is following me.
Pet the cat.